no member-elect having received the majority of the votes cast, a speaker has not been elected.
You know, to be able to have a Congress that can't function is just embarrassing. We're the greatest nation in the world. How can that be?
Well, it's a little messy up there. We've been through 6 ballots, maybe 7 ballots tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. They come back. Here's how Bloomberg Opinion writes it. Trump lit the fire that's burning down McCarthy's house. McCarthy's enemies aren't driven by a desire for aggressive conservative policy reforms. They want to blow things up. They want McCarthy's scalp, and the narrow Republican margin in the House makes it extremely difficult for anyone to stop them. Let's bring in our panel. Byron York, chief political correspondent of the Washington Examiner. Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist, and syndicated radio host Hugh Hewitt. Byron, I want to start with you. I don't know if you heard Chip Roy at the beginning list what they are demanding. Those lists have been different in different interviews, but that's what we heard from Representative Roy, Representative-elect, I should say, until he's sworn in, and none of them can until there's a House Speaker. Your thoughts on where we are at this moment?
Well, the demands have changed, and Kevin McCarthy did make a lot of concessions that have already been written into a rules package that the 20 have accepted, but then they want more. You know, I think what's striking about this, and I think anybody watching this is either really bored or kind of disgusted now, but what is striking is the group of 20, the 20 against 200, still have not made a serious argument about who should be Speaker. On this first day, they made these impassioned nominations of Jim Jordan, knowing full well that he didn't want to be Speaker. And then today, they've made impassioned nominations of Byron Donalds. And you played some video of Byron Donalds earlier in the program saying, you know, do you want to be Speaker? Not really. And he's been in Congress all of one term. This is entirely unserious, and yet at the same time they have been so tenacious. And the last thing is, I think the thing is additionally extraordinary, is the 200, the fear that they have, and I think it's a legitimate fear, that if they give in to these 20, there'll be no end to it.
Yeah.
The next time there's a controversial vote, the demands will be never ending.
And it is calcified, Hugh, because we had Congresswoman elect Lauren Boebert on last night. She spoke on the floor today after the former president came out with a statement endorsing Kevin McCarthy. Take a listen.
Even having my favorite president call us and tell us we need to knock this off, I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw.
You know, I think those are Democrats with the oohs and ahs, but what do you think, Hugh?
Well, I think Kevin McCarthy's support is actually getting firmer. Earlier this afternoon, 16 military veterans came out and held a press conference in which they were very adamant that this is not the way you win a political war, much less a real war. And I think the 20 are becoming aware of the damage they are doing to their own reelection campaign. Now, some of them have different incentives. Some of them want to be Trey Gowdy or Jason Chaffetz and find something else to do other than the House because they don't have a path forward to a position of power or prominence or authority. But someone like Scott Perry, who won by 8 percentage points, has got to start worrying about in the 10th District of Pennsylvania, is he going to lose 5 to 10% of his base who are just disgusted with this because the 20 are holding the 200 hostage. There are at least 50 only Kevin votes. So it's either going to be Kevin McCarthy is Speaker or nobody is Speaker for a very long time.
Leslie, I know Democrats are, as I said, relishing this moment, but eventually Democrats are in that chamber as well, and they may want to find some deal, possibly.
You know, I'm really not sure at this point, Brett, because, you know, it's just interesting for my party to sit there, popcorn in hand, watching this circus unfold. You know, I think our own Sean Hannity said it's turning into a clown show. Karl Rove said it's an embarrassment. And when I agree with Karl and Sean, there's something going on. Look, here's the problem. There are no options. I mean, both Byron and you are correct. You have 20 holding 200 hostage. And my concern for the American people is that the American people elected a Republican House, and a Republican House is in chaos. If they can't get a speakership done, I mean, they're more than 6 degrees of separation away from a speaker right now, Kevin McCarthy is. How are they going to get legislation done with such a slim majority and such a division and fragmentation within the party? This isn't just a divided, a divided House and Senate and a divided Washington. This is a divided Republican majority in the House. This is really sad to watch. The people can't be, as you said, sworn in. This is terrible for them and their families, many of which have just traveled to D.C. to watch this and their kids in tow. And it's sad for the American people who want things to be done.
Yeah.
They don't want to be watching this. They don't want to be watching this every day.
Byron, quickly, we just got word that Chip Roy left our interview, went back into this room. Kevin McCarthy now meeting with opposition, the 20, and the question is, how much more can he negotiate and still be effective at all as Speaker of a very raucous caucus?
Yeah, these are degrees of good issues. The idea that we should be able to read bills before they're considered, that a certain amount of time is given to read them, that people should be able to offer amendments and that can't all be shut down. I think some of these members are traumatized by life under Nancy Pelosi. But at the same time, McCarthy cannot give them the keys to the Speaker's office and let them depose him at any moment.
Why go to a border state and not visit the border? Because there's a more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise.
Are you going to be visiting the border when you head down to Mexico?
That's my intention. We're working out the details now.
And we've confirmed the president is going to visit the border. He's going to speak about border security tomorrow. We're back with the panel. Hugh, a change of tactics here from the White House?
I think the president is running for re-election. I think he knows that this is a bleeding ulcer of an issue for him and that he's got to at least make a show of concern, so he's going south as soon as he possibly can.
Leslie?
Well, a lot of people in my party have urged the president, including myself, to go to the border even prior to him becoming president. I think it's essential that he see it for himself, that he speak to the people there on the ground. We know the president can't do this all. We know Congress has to do it, and I think it starts with our antiquated asylum system, and Congress keeps kicking the can and has for the better part of 3 decades. That needs to change.
Byron?
And remember the pressure that's being created by some towns along the border, sending illegal border crossers to cities in the rest of America. Denver's had a big problem. The mayor of New York is complaining every day about this. These are Democrats, and that's finally created some pressure on that side.
I want to go back to our speaker issue, and this is Democratic representative from Missouri, Cori Bush, tweeting out, Byron Donalds, who was nominated for Speaker, is not a historic candidate for Speaker. He is a prop. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. His name being in the mix is not progress. It's pathetic. Hugh, care to tackle that?
That's an appalling comment. She may represent St. Louis, but she doesn't represent the United States or Missouri. That's why an increasing number of black voters voted Republican in this past election and will continue to do so because they are appalled by racism of that most overt sort.
Leslie, quickly.
I have to say I'm shocked by the comment, and in addition, I think anybody's name on there is a prop right now, and the 20 people will vote for whoever is there, regardless of their skin color.
All right, we're going to leave it there.